Parental fatigue, burnout. If you're feeling this, we get it. But there's one thing we use when we're feeling depleted. It's called Rehydrate. Delicious electrolytes that increase blood flow to your brain, organs, and nervous system, boosting your energy without anything nasty. Magic.
Next time you're feeling flat, give Rehydrate a go. Available at Coles.
It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
When we are intentional, we just get better results.
We create moments because moments aren't created on their own.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
G'day, this is Dr. Justin Coulson, the author of 6 books about raising happy families. This much I can tell you. You can write 6 books about happy families and still struggle to have a happy family. But I can also assure you that if you read a book about having a happy family, you will. So buy one because it'll make a difference for you, even if I'm struggling every now and again. And I'm here with the laughing wife in the background, my wife, podcast partner, parenting partner, Mrs. Happy Families, Kylie, mum to our 6 daughters.
Well, shout out to all the mums and dads who have now got a little bit more breathing space.
School's back for everybody.
School's back for everyone. We're all on the same page.
Oof.
We made it.
We've talked to a lot of parents in the last week from right around the country who, especially the New South Wales and WA parents and ACT parents who have been like, can it please just hurry up? Please, please, please. It's not fair. Queensland, Victoria are back. Why can our kids not be back there as well? I know some parents love it when the children are at home, but overwhelmingly this year it seems like parents are like, I just needed the break. So glad they're back at school. So this is the episode every week, every Friday, we talk about how we'll do better tomorrow. The name of the episode is I'll Do Better Tomorrow because we're looking for parenting insights, lessons, learnings, things that we can glean to make ourselves more effective as parents. And Kylie, what's your insight this week? How can we inspire and learn from our parenting experiences recently?
You know, I love celebrations and I make a really big deal in our house about Christmas and Anzac Day and Valentine's Day, Easter. They're all a really big deal in my house. But I have to confess, Australia Day is just one that I have not jumped on the bandwagon with.
Nah, Australia, mate. It's one of those days where we kind of just, we're exhausted. It's the end of the holidays.
It's usually just before school's about to go back. So I use that day to kind of, do all my final preparations. But this year, I really felt strongly that I needed to make it count.
Well, your word for the year is intention, so I'm not surprised to hear you say that. And we had a really great day.
We did, but it really took a lot to be intentional in that moment. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I really, if I'm completely honest, I just wanted to have a lazy day in bed with you, watch some Netflix, read some books, and not even just register that there was 5 children in the house.
Why did we not do that? I mean, well, actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that because that undermines the great day that we had and the amazing work that you did that day. I know that we're sort of stretching way back when, but it was a really great day.
So we woke up.
Unlike our conversation yesterday with Jessica Rowe, who says I'm a crap housewife and I'm not going to try too hard on some of these things. You made pavlova, you made Anzac biscuits, you made Weet-Bix slice, you made something else. What was it? Whatever it was. There was
Lamingtons.
Oh, lamingtons! You made lamingtons. I mean, it was incredible. We had some people over. So is that what you're going to talk about? How when we do this, life is better because we're intentional. We've made the effort, and it is worth the effort.
Yeah, it really is. I look at Australia Day this year and I just feel like I was able to connect with my family in really intentional ways. And Lamingtons came about because Emily made them with me for the very first time when we were in isolation and had all the time in the world and has been begging ever since for us to give them a go again. And I haven't had the time. So I really enjoyed being able to spend that time with the kids.
So is that your learning? That's the I'll Do Better Tomorrow is when we are intentional, we just get better results?
We create moments because moments aren't created on their own.
Can I share a fun moment from our Australia Day?
Sure thing.
So we got up early. We went to the beach. The beach was packed by like 8 o'clock when we got there. It was chockers. But on the way back, I decided, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you know that I'm big on music and playing lots of music and helping my children to appreciate the music that I grew up with, the really, really good stuff. And so I decided to do some music appreciation on the way home from the beach.
You did.
And I cranked up a whole lot of Aussie pub rock hits.
Guns N' Roses did not.
Well, they're not Australian.
Hit the track this time.
But we played a bit of Chisel, bit of Kaysan, bit of Hunters and Collectors, all that sort of stuff, some Barnsey. And then the kids were like, Dad, I'm sick of listening to all this pub rock stuff. And I said, well, what about this? And I cranked up some John Williamson.
The place that I adore, I tell them right away. Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees. A sheep or two and a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back, the reindeer at the front, and an old rocking chair.
That was so much fun. And
we probably won't get a recording deal out of that one, but it was a lot of fun.
So, what a great I'll do better tomorrow. Put in the effort, and you get out of life what you put into it. And you really, we as a family put a lot in, and that's not normally what happens on this day. But it was just so fulfilling, so much fun, and it worked out great. I've got a different kind of an insight to share about what I've picked up from parenting this past week, and
maybe we can do that after the break.
I just want to tease it by saying that it's really hard for me to share it, and I completely blew it. But sometimes our biggest mistakes give us the best insights.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
Imagine a home where discipline got results without anyone having to feel bad or in trouble. The Do's and Don'ts of Discipline is a webinar to help parents set limits with love, compassion and humanity. Find it now at happyfamilies.com.au/shop.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. And we have been talking about the insights that we've had this week on our parenting journey. Justin, you teased us before the break.
Yeah.
What is your insight?
So I had this moment. I've made no secret of the fact that the last few weeks have been fairly challenging for me, just at a personal level, carrying a lot of stress, a lot of burden, way too much to do, not keeping up with it, doing insanely long hours, and there's just, it's not a good recipe for a happy family when you carry that much stress and you don't get enough sleep and you're not exercising, you're eating poorly, and you can't get all your work done and you're still doing 15 hours a day and that kind of stuff. And I walked upstairs out of the office one evening, and one of the kids had been sitting on the couch reading a book. She got up from the couch and went to do something. And when she went back to sit on the couch to read her book, about 90 seconds later, one of her other sisters had sat in the same seat that she was in. And she started to lose it. That's my seat. I was sitting there. I was reading. I was right there. And she started to get really, really, really.
And just to paint the picture here, we actually have 4 couches in that space.
Yeah, so we've got a really big living room. Like it's a funny shaped room, and it's excessively large for a living room. And so we've got
because it's so long, we have to split it into 2 spaces, which is why we have 4 couches so that they.
Yeah, so there's 10 or 12 lounge seats, which means that you can comfortably probably sit with children, 18 or 20 people in that living room. It's insane. And there's all these seats everywhere.
But she wanted that one.
She's like, you're sitting in my seat. I was there. I don't know what happened, but something inside me just went, this is insane. Like this is not supposed to be how it is. And without channeling my inner mental mentor and thinking, what would Wally do? And without stepping into any psychological distancing strategies and any of the things that I've talked till I'm blue in the face on this podcast about to help other parents to not lose their cool, I just snapped. I mean, all the stuff that I teach people about not yelling, it went out the window in that moment. And
the story gets a little bit worse.
Yeah. So while I start to lose it, what I actually did was my brain kind of shut off, and I just said, I said to this child, and I'm going to take the microphone away from my mouth. I'm like, there's 20 seats. Just take another seat. Any seat. There's all of these seats. Why are you making such a big deal about that seat? It's not your seat. Sit in another seat. I mean, it
It was pretty full on.
I wasn't. There was no anger. No, it was angry, but it wasn't hostile. It was just frustration. It was sheer. This is so stupid. Just go and sit in another seat, kind of thing. Like it wasn't. I didn't call her any names. I wasn't horrible to her as a person. It was more like I just can't believe the inanity of this. And then you've walked into the living room with your phone in your hand, and you were having a FaceTime call with somebody as I was doing it. And so they heard.
No, it wasn't a FaceTime call, which made it worse. It was a Marco Polo. So it's now video recorded.
And you can't delete Marco Polos. So you're recording this thing and it's going to somebody and they've heard the parenting expert, the guy with the PhD and the 6 books and the guy who's up there saying happy families, absolutely losing it because his daughter wouldn't sit in the right seat. So insight and learning from that. Sometimes, there's a couple of things. First of all, sometimes it's really hard to practice what you preach. Like we actually all, we all make mistakes. We all blow it. And I did. I just got it so wrong. So that was insight number 1. Insight number 2, when you don't look after yourself as a parent, it's really hard to look after your kids. And I haven't been looking after them. Well, I'm getting better again now because that was actually a big wake up call. I was like, I've got to actually get this right. The more time we spend staying up late, eating poorly, missing out on the stuff that we know nourishes us and keeps us well sustained, the less effective we're going to be with our children. And that was a huge reminder. And I think the third thing was that we really need to get some permanent markers and write on the couches so that everyone knows whose seat is whose. That was another.
I think if you let that child know that,
she probably will. Oh my goodness, all those seats. So a bit of a confessional, really, but also to highlight nobody's perfect. I've never made any claims to parenting perfection, and every now and again, it doesn't happen often, but every now and again, we all lose it. We all blow up, and that was my shameful but all too real moment. I think more than anything, though, what it reminds me of is we've got to, when we're feeling like that, we've just got to stop for 2 seconds and think to ourselves, what matters most here? What's the most important thing? And what I probably could have done is redirected the other daughter and said, you know what, if she wants to sit there that much, it must be really important to her. Do you care where you sit? And then do the teaching later when everybody's calmed down. Talk about those kinds of issues. So that's my I'll do better tomorrow, and clearly I've needed to do better tomorrow.
Some great insights there.
We hope that you've enjoyed the podcast. Thanks so much for listening. If you do enjoy what we do, we enjoy reading your ratings and reviews. We love the 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts. If you can jump on there and leave one, we'd be so grateful. And if you'd like more information about how to make your family happier, please visit happyfamilies.com.au.